Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about all the books that I've read for the month of May. So in the month of May, I actually had a really great reading month. I read lots of 4 and 5-star books, which is amazing. My pacing was great. So proud of myself. I actually read 8 books this month. I would have read 9, but I wanted to film this video before the end of the month. So I am currently reading a book that I'm almost done with that I will be including in my June wrap up. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into all the books I read. Okay, so I started off the month super strong with a new release, which was Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book was so good. I gave this book a 5 in the beginning, but the more I thought about it, I'm giving it a 4.75 because for some reason in the beginning of this book, I just wasn't feeling as attached to the characters and I felt like it was a little slow paced for me compared to her other books. Other than that though, 4.75, I really enjoyed it. The story follows Harriet and Wynne, and they have a group of close-knit friends that every year they travel to this cottage and they take a yearly vacation together. However, this cottage is now going to be on sale, meaning this will be the last year that they spend together as a friend group. They're all very close and tight-knit. Harriet and Wynne are known to be a couple throughout the story. Because it's their last vacation and because 2 of the couples in this friend group are getting married, Harriet and Wynne don't want to ruin it for them and don't want to ruin this vacation week for the entire group by not being together. So what do? They decide to fake date and pretend like they're still engaged in order to make this a good experience for the whole group. It turns out that Harriet and Wynne have to actually room together because they're fake engaged, so that makes it extremely hard for them to deny their feelings for each other. And so the story goes on from there. I really enjoy Emily Henry's writing so much. I love it. It's captivating. It's not just about the romance with her, it's also got some other topics in there, some other things that the characters struggle through. So I really did enjoy it. Gave it a 4.75. It was just a little slow for me towards the end. Next up, I read Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. I had really high expectations for this book. I read the reviews for some reason, even though I try to steer away from reviews. I read the reviews in hopes that it would make me bawl and sad and cry. It made me sad, but it did not live up to my expectations, meaning it did not make me cry like some people expressed it did to them. And I was really craving a book like that. So I'm just going to read you the back because it just does a better job at explaining. This book, even though it was a great experience for me, I don't remember a lot of it anymore. I do remember that there was a lot of sad parts to it. That's about it. When Ren realizes her fiance is in love with someone else, she thinks her heart will never recover. On the other side of the world, Anders lost his wife 4 years ago and is still struggling to move on. Ren hopes that spending the summer with her dad and stepfamily on their farm in Indiana will help her to heal. There, amid the cornfields and fireflies, she and Anders cross paths and their worlds are turned upside down. Ren doesn't know that Anders is harboring a secret, and if he acts on any feelings he has for Ren, it will have serious fallout for everyone. This book was just so sad at times, so heartfelt, so tragic, but it was really good. It had its sad moments and you wanted to root for these characters and you wanted them to be together, but certain circumstances allowed them not to be. But overall, it was a great book. I enjoyed it. Each characters go through their own struggles. Anders is grieving and mourning over the loss of his wife. Wynne is going through a breakup. She literally sees her fiance about to cheat on her, so she's going through those struggles. You know that they belong together, but for some reason life and its circumstances keeps them apart, and it's so heartbreaking to watch these characters try to deny the love that they have for each other, but you still know that they should be together and they can't. It's so sad and heartbreaking, but at the same time, really great book. I believe I gave this book a 4-star. Next up, I read The Nightfall by Suzanne Young. This is a YA fantasy vampire thriller, and I had so much fun with this. This was one of my Once Upon a Book Club book picks, and I enjoyed it so much. It was actually super creepy considering it was only a YA, but I enjoyed the creepiness, the atmospheric of it, and the spine-chilling feeling of being in this house in the middle of the woods with nothing around. That was great. That was top-notch. The story follows Theo and her brother. They had just pulled off the most epic end of the year party at their house while their dad is away. It's so big that the cops come, the house is trashed. Their dad is like, no, you guys are not staying here alone in the summer. You guys did not deserve to be trusted. Therefore, we're going to visit grandma. Their grandma lives in the beachside town of Nightfall in Oregon, where it's always rainy, it's always gloomy, the sun barely comes out. She lives cracked down in the middle of the woods, nothing around them. It takes a little bit to get into town. And their grandmother has one rule, and she's very superstitious. She's very weird in that sense. She has one rule, which means make sure you're home before dark. Theo and her brother are determined to have a great summer, at least make the best of it living in this rainy town. They are determined to explore and maybe not follow their grandmother's rules. In comes Minao and her clique of friends, these beautiful 3 girls that are flawless, beautiful, interesting, popular. Everybody wants to hang out with them. Everybody wants to be them. Everybody wants to date them. After meeting these group of friends, Theo realizes that there's something wrong with them, or there's something mysterious going on within that friend group, because at night something emerges through the town of Nightfall and things just get crazy from there. So again, this is a fantasy thriller mystery and it's about vampires. I didn't think I would like a book about vampires as much as I did, and I was really scared, honestly. For a YA, this lived up to my expectations. It scared me. Some of the things were cringy and disturbing to read about, very descriptive at certain points, and it was so atmospheric. It was such a great reading experience for me. 5 stars. Next up, I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This book, love it so much. I tabbed some of it. It was heartwarming, heart-wrenching, at times sad, pulling at my heartstrings. It had everything I needed and more in a romance. It wasn't just a fluffy rom-com. To me, I don't consider this being a rom-com at all. It was serious at times. It had some heavy topics in there. I fell in love with these characters so much. This book is part of a series. The first book in the series is Part of Your World, which I read last year, absolutely loved. This is the second book in that series. This one did not disappoint. I gave this one a 5-star. This book follows Brianna and Jacob, and they're both ER doctors. Jacob transfers to her hospital and Brianna is up for a promotion and she can't wait to have it, let alone to find out that she might be essentially competing for the same promotion as Jacob. So right off the bat, she does not like Jacob. She hates him because she thinks he's out to get her promotion. She's just appalled that who is this guy? It's coming and transferring from a different hospital only to swoop in on my hard-working years of me proving myself to this promotion that I deserve. So off the bat, she has a bitter taste in her mouth. She does not like him, so they start off on the wrong foot. Until one day, he decides to write a letter to her. They exchange letters back and forth, and it's their romance. I loved it so much. I enjoyed this book so much. Abby Jimenez did not leave anything out in this romance. It's got everything you need and more. 5 stars. So because I enjoyed Truly Yours so much, I decided to binge read all of the other books on Abby Jimenez's backlist. So I did read The Friend Zone, The Happy Ever After Playlist, and Life's Too Short. And this is part of the Friend Zone series. These books are so beautiful, by the way. And let's talk about them. This book follows Josh and Kristen is on her way to her friend's house. She accidentally rear ends Josh. So right off the bat, they do not get along because he is annoyed that she rear ends him, that she wasn't paying attention, and she's just annoyed that she spilled her coffee and the accident happened. And they're a little bit of enemies at this point. Little do they know that they're actually on their way to the same exact place. Kristen is best friends with Sloan, and Josh is best friends with Brandon, and Sloan and Brandon are actually engaged. They are going to get married, and Kristen is Sloan's maid of honor, and Josh is Brandon's best man. So when they arrive to their house, they are shocked to see that they are going to have to mingle together and get along in order to be there for their best friends. And it's their love story from there. And I love the fact that Abby Jimenez has a puppy or a dog in every single one of her books. They have their own cute little quirky personalities to them, which I love so much. And so this book is about their romance. Kristen, does not want to get involved in a relationship, has infertility issues, so there's that heavy topic in there. And Josh wants the opposite that she does. He wants to have lots of kids, and he wants to have a family, and he wants to be married. And so they're polar opposites, but for some reason their love just works. Their chemistry just works. Their banter is amazing in this book. They're back and forth. Their snarky comments that they give each other other are just hilarious. This book was also really sad. Something tragic happens towards the end of the book that I was not expecting. I was bawling hysterically like a baby because it was just that tragic, because you do fall in love with these characters so much. So very great book, 5 stars. Next up, I read The Happy Ever After playlist. Again, Abby Jimenez delivers. I gave this one a 5 star. I loved it so, so much. This is Sloan and Jason's romance. Sloan is an artist and Jason is a musician bound to be a very well-known famous celebrity. Right off the bat, this book is heavy, has a heavy topic. It does deal with Sloan trying to live her life without her fiance because she's mourning his death. That was very just heart-wrenching to read about, to have her go through. And one day she's on her way to his cemetery like she does every year. She almost hits a dog, which is this puppy right here. His name is Tucker, by the way. He is so cute. She stops in the middle of the road. The dog ends up jumping into her sunroof. From there, she tries to contact the owner. The owner is MIA for 2 weeks, and she just realized, okay, well, I'm just going to keep the dog because I've fallen in love with this dog and he has changed my way of living, my routine. He has brightened my life up. The owner of the dog happens to be Jason, who is on tour for his music career. And when he finally sees and hears the messages, he reaches out to Sloan, kind of asking her, where can I pick up my dog? And she's like, absolutely not. I'm not giving you your dog back because I love him. And clearly you didn't care about him because you abandoned him. So it's their romance. I didn't really think I was gonna like Jason as much because of the way he has entered into Sloan's life, his story. But I absolutely fell in love with him towards the book. I love the love that he has for Sloan, and I love the love that she has for him. I just enjoyed reading about this couple so much. Sloan deserves anything and everything. I loved her as a main character. You just root for her the entire time. So this book, 5 out of 5, 5 stars for me. It's amazing. I don't even know if I can consider this one of my favorite Abby Jimenez books because I love all her books, but this is up there. Okay, let's go back because I did say I gave this book a 5 star, but I believe I gave it a 4 star because I just didn't like Kristen, the main character. That is the only thing that I didn't like. I also didn't like one of the side characters. I didn't like his attitude and his perception of women and how cringy he was. But Kristen overall, which was the main character in this book, I did not like at all. I thought that she just cussed. She said F words all around, and she also sounded like a sailor frat boy, and I did not like her at all. I did not like her personality at all. Also in the beginning, this was a little insta-lovey, which was kind of annoying on my end because I did want to read about the characters developing their love opposed to it being so fast and quick. But other than that, it was a good story, even though Kristen annoyed the heck out of me. Then I read the last book in the series, which is Life's Too Short, and this one I ended up giving 4.5 because for some reason I just didn't believe in the chemistry and the love that the characters had for each other. I didn't believe it, and I didn't really care, and I wasn't really rooting for them at all for some reason towards the beginning. It wasn't until towards the end of the book that I actually believed in their romance. I believed in them and I was rooting for them. So this story follows Vanessa and Adrian, and Vanessa is a YouTuber. She travels and does traveling vlogs all the time, and she's super famous. Adrian is a top-notch lawyer at his firm that he co-partnered with another attorney, and he also happens to own the building that him and Vanessa live in, and they happen to be neighbors. One day at 3 a.m. in the morning, he hears a baby screaming nonstop and just crying, and he goes over, knocks on the door, and it happens to be Vanessa trying to control the baby screaming and just flustered, has vomit in her hair. She just can't seem to have the baby stop. Because Adrian has to go to work the next day, he decides, I need to help her. I need to help soothe the baby so that I can get back to bed and wake up well rested. So he does that. He takes the baby, has Vanessa take a shower and just clean herself up while he soothes the baby. And he's like literally the baby whisperer. And then a friendship forms from there. They become really good friends. They watch the baby together, and the baby Grace in this book is phenomenal. I love the fact that there's a baby in here. I fell in love with her right away. And it's about their romance, trying to co-parent. It does have heavy topics in there. Again, Abby Jimenez always does this. They're not just fluffy romances, which I really did enjoy. Vanessa also can't get attached to Adrian or anybody because she believes that she has a life-threatening disease. It's just a great book. It was a really good book. The only reason why I gave it a 4.5 was because I just didn't connect with the characters and their chemistry and their romance that much throughout the book up until the end. Then I read Comfort Me with Apples, and actually I read Comfort Me with Apples before I read Abby Jimenez's Friend Zone series, so I apologize for that. This little cute short novella just got me hooked because if you didn't know, Comfort Me with Apples by Catherynne and Valente is so beautifully written and it's so out there. It's fantasy, horror, it's got a little bit of everything, but the way that it's written, it's just phenomenal. It's just breathtaking. It's just beautiful, just so beautiful. All packed in one little tiny novella. I enjoyed every bit of it. The story follows Sophia and her husband, and they live in this beautiful mansion in this beautiful, prestigious, ritzy neighborhood. Nothing can go wrong. She lives a beautiful life with beautiful things. Her marriage is perfect. She loves him, he loves her, and they're just so happy. Until one day he goes on a business trip and she's doing her daily chores and she's brushing her hair. She decides to open a drawer that she never has opened before for some reason. She just has never gravitated towards it. She opens it and she realizes that she finds a brush potentially made of human bones, a lock of hair wrapped in a silk, the same silk that she wraps around her hair. After seeing this, she questions everything. She's like, well, maybe not everything is so perfect. Maybe there's something going on more sinister. I don't want to say too much because it is a very short novella, but it was so good. I at first did not know how to rate this book because it's so confusing. There's fantasy elements to it, there's horror elements, but it was so confusing to me. I just didn't know how to rate it. But overall, my experience with it was divine because it was so beautifully written. I love Catherynne and Valente's writing. It was so descriptive. You can almost feel and taste every single word in this book, and I enjoyed it. It was such a great reading experience for me. 5 stars. Okay, you guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more of these videos, if you want to see more of me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!